So the other day, I get an email from a young man who's in the job market. He's looking for a new job. And if you guys missed the video I did talking about how to find, or tips on how to find, a job or career that you love, there's a link in the description. Social media, our social media profile, it is speaking volumes about who you are. And whether or not yours is saying what you want it to is definitely something that needs to be looked at and addressed. Well, this is the situation with our friend who happens to be searching for a new job. He emailed me and wanted to know if he should tone down the gayness of his social media. The fear is that potential employers will be searching for him, find it, and be like, oh my gosh, he's obviously gay, we're not hiring him. That being said, our friend isn't interested in hopping back in the closet, but he is aware that his presence and his personal presentation on social media could be sending the wrong message to a potential employer. But this got me thinking. I'm like, it's not just for potential employers. This is for all of us. If we're looking to advance in our career or our social lives, paying attention and making sure that our social media is saying what we want it to is critical to our success. Like it or not, it is becoming increasingly difficult to fly underneath the digital radar. And what you're presenting to the world is now becoming public access, public knowledge, due to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, my God, the list goes on and on. If you think for a second that employers, even if it's illegal and you're not allowed to do it, if you think for a second that they're not actually plugging your happy ass into Google, doing a Google search when they're thinking about potentially employing you, you would be sorely mistaken. Think about it. An employer is about to hire somebody. They want to know who they're bringing into their corporate culture. You are going to be a representation of their brand. And if they pop you into Google and you come up and you got a beer bong in your mouth, you think you're the guy for the job? You may be. They may think otherwise. The pictures you post, the things you like, the topics you discussed are all on display. But you're thinking, Alpha, I got my settings locked down tight. Well, you think so. And then you install Facebook Messenger. And then you never know. And quite frankly, I have no idea. Do you really want to take the chance? For me, it's just not worth it. And I would say that it's probably not worth it for you either. The benefit that you get from posting some of those pictures that you post or saying the things that you say, in the long run, it simply isn't worth it. We talk a lot about image, what your image projects, what it represents. Well, that image is not just when you meet somebody, all right? That's one part of the equation. But your image and your presence in cyberspace, everything thrown together, is the collective whole of what you're all about. Maybe not what you're all about, but what people are going to perceive you to be all about. And it would be an absolute shame for you to have a momentary lapse in judgment, and for that momentary lapse to come back years later and bite you in the ass. We have been given so much through technological advances, but we've also lost a few things. Those things being anonymity and private. Did I say that? Anonymity. Anonymity. Anonymity and privacy. These two things are starting to slip through our fingers. And the more you post, the more social you are, the more potential there is for you planning a social media landmine. You need to think about everything that you say, everything that you post, everything you put out there. Your image needs to be consistent, both in person but on the web as well. If you're doing and saying and acting certain ways that is not necessarily in line with the way that you want to be perceived by the outside world, then you may want to take a hard look and actually change. You need to change. And if that means taking down some old pictures, removing some tags, or deleting some comments that you've made, I would say now is the perfect opportunity to do so. To the original person who actually asked the question of whether or not they should tone down their gayness, this is one of those questions where it's really tough to answer. You know, there's certain things that we can't change. Our age, our height, our skin color, our race. You know, these are things that if somebody searches and they're like, oh yeah, John's black, or oh yeah, Alpha's short, he's got pointy ears, and I hate short, pointy-eared kids. Kids. Who am I kidding? Men. Short, pointy-eared men. I still feel like a kid at heart. Anyway, there are going to be things and people out there that people will discriminate against us that we absolutely can't change. But certain things, you know, you just need to make sure that you're being true to yourself, and more than true to yourself, you need to make sure that you are okay with what's being presented out there. Is it possible that somebody's going to see your profile and be like, oh, he's gay, I don't like gay people? Yeah, that's a risk you're going to take. So if that's a concern, you may want to tone it down. And I'm not saying to hop back in the closet by any means. I'm just saying that if you're erring on the side of super gay to like not gay, as far as the stuff that you post, I would probably go somewhere on this end of things if you're concerned about potential employers. My 2 cents, take it for what it's worth and what you paid for it, which is nothing.